Hello, everybody. It has been a long time. I don't even know if I remember how to work all the stuff for the live stream. I don't remember things, so it's not really been that long. Anyway, I'll wait and make sure audio is working. And my plan on this guy, I think I'm going to start on the darkest areas of him, like the main, block this in, and then work on the detail while this dries after we blend out. So that is the plan. Let's see. Jana said, welcome back, big aquarium owner. Can't wait to see it filled with fish. Yeah, me too. I won't be filling that one so much with fish. If you're unaware, I did post here on YouTube, but I also, if you haven't been following me on MeWe, you're missing out on my random updates. I don't know how exciting they are, but it is my life. So I'm not terribly excited, but there are animals involved. So we just had George from Coralfish 12G, the whole Fritz, not full whole, but like a big Fritz Aquatics team came and installed it's 83 gallons and then a 20-gallon sump in my office. And it's amazing, but I'm not going to so much fill it with fish. It will have some fish. The main things that it's going to be more, it'll be full of coral. That's going to be the big thing. Some fish, lots of coral is the plan. And actually, after, thanks Pat, after we're done with the live stream, I'm headed over. I've actually got to trim my green star polyps in the tank right now, and I'm going to go drop that off over at Aqua Studios in the Colony. If you do have fish, that is the store to go to. That is one I generally go to. So I'm going to go over there, and they let me film in there, so it's even better. But I'm going to pick their brains because, you know, zombie. I'm going to pick their brains on some quarantine stuff. I've got to decide, do I want to put the coral in the tank, kind of quarantine it there for a bit, and then fish later, or put fish and then quarantine the coral in my other tank. Just figure it out how I want to proceed. Neither is necessarily a wrong option. It's just, you've got a quarantine process, much like the frogs, quarantine process so that I don't want a tank full of ick or velvet or Brooklynella or any of those fun stuff. So yeah, that is what is going on. So let's see. Message deleted by the Google moderation. What is that? Hold on, can I see this? Remove moderator. Are your things getting removed, Joseph? What is going on? It's telling me that stuff from Joseph is being deleted by the Google moderator team. What in the world is that? Like, his posts aren't going through for some reason. Weird. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to talk about that. Sneak said, welcome back. Hope your mom's visit was great. It was. I really enjoyed having both my parents were here, and not long enough, unfortunately. But I was super exhausted just going from not enough sleep. And how backwards is that? My parents visit and I get tired. But you'd think it would be the slow down time. But yeah, super exhausted. I actually, random story no one asked about, I got it was just a bit over 8 hours of sleep last night. That doesn't happen. My average is 4 to 5 hours lately. And so hitting like 6 is a good night for me. So hitting 8, it was amazing. My back is angry about sleeping that long, but I feel like a human again for the first time in forever. Although my allergies, as you can tell from the coffee, and I've been sneezing, my allergies are driving me crazy. Besides that, things are good. Let's see. Jack said, do you like zombie apocalypse films? If so, what is your favorite? I do. I don't know if I have a favorite. I'm not sure on that. I'll have to get back to you. I can't think of I like them, but I don't know. I like the books, like zombie themed books. Zombie Fallout's been my favorite lately. Like, that one's so good. But that's a book. So I don't know on movies. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite zombie movie. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Clark Ryder said, hope you had a great birthday week. I did. It was exhausting. I felt like, I thought while I was gone, I guess I can sharpen pencils while I ramble. I thought while I was gone, I would have all this time to get caught up on so much stuff. And I wanted to get all of the Patreon postcards, which I did print. I got some done. But I thought I was going to get some, all this stuff. I am behind more now. And then, so I was already kind of behind. I'm like, okay, now I need to get caught up back to work. Monday, I find out that they're coming to install that tank. Now, I've been waiting for over a year. That tank's been planned since the beginning of this house. So, or having a tank there, not that specific one. But I was like, I can't put that off. George is flying in. George Coralfish 12G flew in from Chicago, like I can't put this off, like I can't cancel that. So I really didn't want to cancel Wednesday night, but yeah, so that was one more thing that kind of put me behind. And then yesterday I had plans, oh, I need to put glassine up here. I had plans with my mother-in-law. I had told her before she wanted to go shop. She needed a new tree. Hers died in the front yard. So she wanted to go, this is nightshade by the way. So on the black areas, I'm going to put this in with nightshade first. I'm not just going to jump straight to black. But she wanted to go shopping or look at pricing on a tree. So that took yesterday's day of work out. Like I'm behind. I'm just so behind on everything. So I feel like now that I'm back to work, I can get caught up, which is very backwards. Let's see. Stefania said, I like your new haircut. Thank you. Hello from Italy. Hi. Thanks. Yeah, it's much easier this way. I'm trying to cut it. If you guys remember, I had the bleach in the front. It's almost grown out. The bleach parts are so fried, so we're almost there. So I'm like, go short, cut as much off as you can. Let's see, where are we? Joseph said, message deleted by Google moderation team. I cannot drop links. Patreon in her own live stream. What? Wow, that is weird. So he's linking things that promote my Patreon and my stuff, and Google is deleting it. What in the world? He's a moderator. Like he has full. Wow, that's new. Let's see. Hi, Tarcisio. That I'm probably butchering your name. I apologize, but hello. Hi, Jonte from Sweden. Let's see. Yeah, links to Patreon and Subscribestar, Google is automatically deleting. And you know what's weird? Normally, so if somebody's post gets like deleted or moderated, I can see and go, no, that's fine, and approve it. It's not letting me do that with those. Holy crap. That is if you are not already on MeWe, you should be. They are, you don't get filtered, you don't get moderated like that. It is, the link is in the description. It's basically Facebook when Facebook was good, but it kind of gives me the reminder right now that that is a much better platform. Like it is just a good platform. I know that doesn't fix the YouTube thing, whatever is going on right now, but one of the problems with a lot of these platforms, Facebook especially, if you were to post, this one's new, I don't know what's going on there, but if you were to post on Facebook, like here's my link to whatever's currently going on Patreon, they won't show it with people. The algorithm just filters that so badly. No one's going to see it. So that's kind of it's a big deal. And one of the amazing things with MeWe, we're not filtered. If we're selling a painting, if we want to let someone know about a new video, it doesn't get filtered by whatever. Well, this is a different level of filtering. But anyway, if you're not already on MeWe, more of us need to. I mean, I think almost everyone complains about Facebook, about the algorithm, about whatever, but we keep using it. I definitely had they pushed me over the edge. I've been complaining about it for years, but when they deleted my account for those 2 days, it was only 2 days, but some people never get, and I've talked to a bunch of people who never got their accounts back. A bunch. So when that happens, it was a good like push for me to realize I don't really need it. And it's funny. So today was the first day I just shared the link. I didn't even say anything over on my Facebook page. It was the first post I've made on Facebook since all this went down. And my numbers on YouTube, it didn't affect anything. So all this time I'm like, no, I need Facebook. No, I didn't. It turns out it wasn't even helping me because no one saw it anyway. So yeah, I'm hoping for more of us, especially creators, start getting over there and using what is clearly a better platform, but it's going to take users. The platform's good. It's just a matter of getting people to use it regularly. So for me, what I did to keep myself, because out of the habit, I still kept opening Facebook. I removed it from my home screen. I have to go through a junk folder that I have within my app, apps folder. It's a whole process for me to get Facebook open now, but it meant that it's there if I need to check something, or there's a few people that's my only contact with them. So if I have to message them, but it's not easy to do. And MeWe's right on the homepage of my phone now, or the front page. So it's easy to that was what I did so that I would start using the better one and break the habit of it was just so much habit of Facebook. You just log into Facebook all the time. Anyway, I can't believe they're doing that. George said, I finally was able to join today. Yay! I haven't been able to do art in a month due to post-moving errands. Oh, I know that, or how that goes, especially all the technology changes, phone, internet, etc. Gosh, moving is so time, it took me so long to get back into really painting and drawing regularly after we moved. It was just there was always something. Well, then the zombie virus hit, so everything was just thrown out of whack, but I get that. I'm glad you're back though. Kim said, happy belated birthday. Thank you. D said, missed your stream for a couple of weeks. Nice to be back. Yeah, I missed you guys. Like, it's funny because how often I do something, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell everyone on the live stream. And then I have to wait forever. Apparently, I thought I was just waiting 1 week. I had to skip 2. It sucked. Let's see. Tara said, Facebook paying Google to punish you for leaving, right? Joking, but that's crazy. They deleted all those messages. What's weird is why would they be like spam filtering, but not allowing me to approve it, a moderator that I've approved? Like, I get it that they would filter. Hold on, where is the spam coming? Let's see, Santa Monica, California. No, screw off. Oh, I shouldn't say that on YouTube, huh? Hold on, let me block this person so they don't continue calling. More scammers. I used to say spam, but half of these are actually scammers, not even spammers. So spammers are one thing. These are full-blown scams. Anyway. Yeah, that's... I'm really shocked that they're not allowing me. What happens if I post it? Hold on, let me post the link and say if they filter me. Will these even come up as links? No, maybe I have to do HTTP. It's not filtering it. We're just testing. I'm not trying to spam you guys. Now that would be spam. Okay, my links are working. Apparently I can do it, but Joseph isn't allowed to. Oh, he did that one. What? That was weird. I wonder if it was just a weird hiccup. That is so odd. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. We've got Shelly said, hi, Lisa and everyone. Welcome back. Hope you had a great week. I did. It was exhausting. I feel like now that the vacation is over, I can relax. Well, as much as I ever get to. Let's see. The Petrified Gardener, I like your name, said, hi, Lisa, finally made it. Today is just getting better and better. Yay! Joseph said, I think I may have just been posting too fast for Google. Now that would make sense. That wouldn't actually bother me. I would get that. It's okay. It gave us a good kind of intro or segue into follow on MeWe. Yeah, I need a vacation for my vacation. It's so funny. I was like, yay, the vacation's over. I can relax now. And then the tank got installed, which I'm excited about. Oh God, I'm so excited about it. But the bad thing is I was so tired. I felt like I wasn't really absorbing the excitement level that I normally would in something like that. Just because I was so exhausted. I just want to sleep. Thanks, Purser family. So I'm using the Derwent Lightfast pencil here, and just for transparency, Derwent did provide me with these pencils. But the reason that I'm using this one, I've also got my main go-to pencils now. It used to be Polychromos and Faber-Castell, Faber-Castell Polychromos, and the Caran d'Ache Luminance. Now I still like the Caran d'Ache Luminance a lot, and there are certain things that will all be my go-to pencil for. But I find myself reaching now more towards my pencils that are on the floor. I have to reach for those a lot because I'm constantly throwing them on the floor. Anyway, let me grab that. But my Polychromos and my Derwent Lightfast, I typically, and maybe it's just because I've been using this paper a lot, the Canson Mi-Teintes, I'm finding myself reaching for these two as my go-to, whether it be because of color or in this case, Nightshade is just one of the most amazing pencil colors any company has ever made as far as Lightfast pencils go, but they blend really well. And so here, my pencil's not super sharp. I'm being fairly lazier than not doing the great small circles and overlapping. I'm not super smooth. You can see my pencil strokes. And that's normally something that I would say to avoid because it comes out looking scribbly. You can see those pencil strokes even when you start blending. Not with these. The Derwent Lightfast blend so smoothly, even when you're sloppy and lazy like I'm doing here, which means I can go through it a lot faster. I don't have to be as careful to do the little, whoops, I'm even going out of the line there. I don't have to be as careful at all. Ooh, that is dirty. So let's take an eraser that's dirty and make it worse. Good job, Lisa. Wait, this one's probably better. Not that it really matters, that'll get covered. Let's see. So anyway, that is why I'm choosing this pencil right now. Part is the color and part is just knowing it is going to blend out really, really smooth, which saves me a lot of time. So much, especially with colored pencil, I'm always looking for anything that will save me time but still look just as good as when I used slower techniques. Because that's important. I don't want to just rush through it and have it like, yay, it was fast, but it looks terrible. I don't want that. Let's see. Dee said, Google is odd. Weeks I was asked for ID, I'm 51, for watching a Picasso documentary. They wanted an image of my passport, driver's license, or my credit card as proof of age. What? That is crazy. Jack said, is there anything about America that non-Americans think it's like, but not actually at all? I think right now, and I don't want to go too much into this, but we have where everyone thinks that everyone hates everyone for fill in the blank reason. And we don't. It's not really, the media, I think, portrays us as being this super hate. And we do have groups of people who are like that they hate people for any reason. There's lots of reasons that people feel like they hate each other and no one gets along and we're all out, rioting and it's really, you have areas like that. You have people who do that. But overall, we all love each other. We don't care how you want to live. Just, you're nice to me. You make your choices. You do what's good for you. And you're nice to me and we're good friends then. They make it sound like everybody is against everybody in this country. I've seen that a lot on news, and I've had a few people ask me, so I'm guessing that that's something that's being fed to. I mean, you always see the worst of the worst on the media, so that gets shared. But, I mean, the way they make it sound like we all hate each other for whatever identity, whatever, it's just really not what they perceive it to be or what they're representing us to be. So that would be one thing I would say, at least in my experience, from Texas and California, it was not what people were like. I thought you all were fighting constantly, and it's like, no, it's really, it's not. Another one, I've heard a lot of people think we all have horses, especially in Texas, and there are a lot of farms and horses and stuff, but it's not quite what you see on TV, unfortunately. I wish it was, because dear God, I love horses. But horses are very, very expensive, and I can't afford one. I would have to board it somewhere, and just it's a lot of it. It's not cheap. But not everyone has horses. We do have a lot of them, but not as much as I think people think, especially in Texas, as what we would have. Like I said, there are areas that do, and actually not that far from me, there's a lot of farms and such that do have them, but the majority of Texas, I would say, is not really, it's not what you see on TV. I even, being from Southern California, I assumed Texas was going to be all dirt and horses. Like, that's all you saw, dirt, brown, everything was going to be brown. So I was really surprised when we moved here. I was like, oh, it's really green. This is not what I like, even me living in the U.S., I even had a misconception of the state as a whole. So that was kind of interesting. I was glad to find that out because I like green. Trying to think, what other misconceptions might there be? I don't know. There's I've heard where people said that we're all rude. That's true. Dear God, that's true. We can't drive. That's true. What else? I don't know. If any of you guys can think of any of the stereotypes that you can come up with there that are not, at least you've not experienced as being true. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other ones, like off the top of my head. I don't know. You let me know one, and I'll tell you what that you've heard, and I'll let you know how true it is or isn't. I mean, we'll see. Let's see. Snow Dragon KA. We're just gonna call you Snow. Snow said, would you say that paper choice greatly influences the choice of colored pencils as well? Absolutely. So let's say I'm working on sanded paper. I'm gonna go with my Faber-Castell polychromos for everything until I get to final layers, and I'll switch to a higher wax content paper where I'm not really blending out. If I'm working on the Canson Mi-Teintes, let's actually back that up. How toned is it? So like with this paper being a gray, yeah, it's toned. It is going to affect my color. But if I were working on like a black paper or really dark, really color saturated, I'm probably going to then reach more for my Caran d'Ache luminance because those are going to be more opaque. So I wouldn't use my polychromos quite as much. So absolutely, and that can be whether it be the texture of the paper or the color of the paper can make a difference. But yeah, definitely. Let's see. EO said, what kind of fish will you put in your new reef tank? So I've got this. I actually made a note because I'm not big of a dork. I've been planning this for years, so that's it. So my two clownfish are going to go. I've got a Picasso female and then my Black Storm male. Those two are going to be probably the first fish in the tank. I'm going to do 2 purple firefish, a blenny. I don't know if I'm going to go with a Midas blenny, a tail spot blenny, or a bicolor blenny. I don't know, one of those. Maybe a lawnmower blenny. Maybe, we'll see on that one. What are you doing up? Go lay down. Oh, he's stretching. Don't fart. Don't do it. I don't think the dog can stretch without it. No one wants to see your butt, Gibson. Go lay down. Not there. Go lay down. Gibson, lay down. He's been getting bad with the vacation and everything being weird, the people in the house. He's getting really bad with thinking he's in charge again and not doing what he knows he's supposed to. And so you give him a command and he just looks at you like, the Rage Against the Machine song, the F you, I won't do what you tell me. That has been his theme that like the last few days. It definitely threw off his schedule with people being in and out and just he's not been listening, huh? Anyway, let's see, what was I talking? Okay, so yeah, the purple firefish. Notice here too, by the way, I'm going over the same area again and again and again because I want a lot of pencil on this. So when I blend out, the OMS has something to work with. If you just put a light layer over this and blend with OMS, it's not going to look very good. So that's why I keep going over it again and again. I'm not just being absent-minded, not in this case anyway. So purple firefish, I want 2 Bangai cardinal. I want either a coal eye or a yellow eye tang, coal tang or a yellow eye tang. I'm leaning towards coal. We'll see what happens there. Was that it? Was that all on my list? Hold on. I can actually check. I wrote this all down. I think that might have been it. So it's not a ton of fish that I'm looking for. The big thing too, I want to make sure it's stuff that can all do well. Yep, that's it. Oh, and clown gobies. I want at least a couple of clown gobies, the little teeny guys. So that's one of the things I'm looking for too, are fish that will quarantine well. So probably not going to go with wrasses. There's also a type of, what is it? It's a blue damsel. Though it's on the tip of my tongue, where normally damsels are really mean fish. I mean, technically clownfish are damsels, but, oh, it's just right there. It's a little yellow guy with little black kind of lines in him, but they eat flatworms and they're not nasty. They're not typically mean fish. So if I can get a hold of one of those, that can help. If you end up with flatworms that come in on coral, that can help keep that under control. So that was another fish, but that's about it. So I don't want to overload the fish. Or overload it with fish. It'll be more corals. I want to go with lots of mushrooms. That's going to be a big one. Mushrooms, zoas, and star polyps. Possibly a leather, maybe. Leathers get so big. I don't know on that, but yeah, that is my plan. Let's see. Shelly said, so my excitement for the week with no live chats with all of you was I finally got my pencil boxes from Jerry's and did my mini studio makeover. Oh, I hope you post photos. I want to see. Although, why do I feel like I did see... Did you post photos? Did I see them yet? Or did somebody... Am I mixing you up with someone else who posted photos? Ziga said, hi, Lisa, welcome back. You've been missed. Oh, thank you. Did you have a lovely birthday? I did. We have nice weather in the UK and was sketching outside by the pond surrounded by koi fish all day. Oh, that sounds awesome. Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. I love koi so much. Jack said, I think because a lot of blockbuster movies are set in America, so it makes people think of stereotypes, maybe, possibly, definitely. And I'm sure some of those stereotypes are true. I mean, stereotypes are there for a reason. It's usually there's some truth and a lot of over-exaggeration is usually what you see. But you have a lot of stuff like, so one thing you'll have in the movies, you'll have like law enforcement things. So where everyone, like, no matter what happens, they're going to come take fingerprints and find who did it. No, they're not. They're not doing that, like, almost ever. Unless it's something major, they are not. Like, someone breaks into your house, they're not. A lot of the crime investigations, I love that stuff. When I used to have TV, I used to watch that stuff all the time. None of that is really how it works. We're not quite as high-tech as TV makes it out to be. So, like, the whole catching criminals doing, like, that's probably not happening. Not to the extent that they make it appear to be. Okay, that's probably a good amount of color there. So now, let's pull some lighter. Actually, I'll probably blend that out and then put the light and dark over that. So let's let that set, and I'm going to start putting the pinks and peaches here. So yeah, I think definitely the crime show stuff is way over exaggerated. We are just not that. Like, that is not how that works. Let's see. JPC13 Art said, I live in the middle of nowhere, Texas. So for me, it is all dirt and horses. Oh my gosh. I didn't know you were here in Texas. How did I not know that? Yeah, they're like West Texas is more, I think West Texas is what I assumed all of Texas was. So that was where I was very, very surprised. Happily surprised because, again, I really like green. Oh, I missed a whole section here that needs to be dark around his face. Sorry, guy. Yeah, not everyone lives in a huge house. That's definitely a stereotype. Well, I would say though, new houses are getting bigger and bigger, but for some reason our closets are getting smaller. One weird thing, and I don't know if anyone knows this, it weirds me out, and it's like, wow, that somehow says something about our culture as a whole. There's a thing in the U.S. that you got, like, as far as I know, nowhere else really has. We have storage units freaking everywhere. They're putting one right next to my house, like these huge storage units where people will spend hundreds of dollars a month to store crap they don't want or need anymore. I don't if it doesn't fit in my house, I do not need it. Now, I understand if someone was moving, like someone lived in a house, they're having a house built, they moved temporarily into an apartment, they've got to store their stuff. Totally get that. But that's not what the majority are doing. The majority are just storing all of their crap. Like they have too much, like we have too much crap. And I mean, when I say crap, I mean crap, like old furniture, no one wants. It needs to be thrown out. Old stuff, no one wants, needs to be thrown. Like there's a reason you don't want it in your house. Get rid of it or give it away, donate it, whatever you need to do. You're paying hundreds of dollars a month depending on how many storage units. And a lot of people have multiples. Like it is that one's a really weird thing to me that the US does, that it just doesn't make sense to me. Like we're hoarders, I guess. Why are we hoarding trash or things that we no longer need? Why not donate it to somebody who can use it? Like if you don't, I just don't get that. That's a big one that I'm like, I do not understand. And there's so many. Another really weird thing about the US, we have mattress stores, like for beds, mattresses everywhere. You'll go into one center and there'll be like 3 right next to each other. My understanding because I looked into this, I'm like, why is that a thing here? Because you don't have that in other countries, not like we do. And I mean, you obviously sell beds, but we're like, it's crazy. Well, me and my husband will drive and just joke, mattress firm, mattress this, mattress that. There's another one. Ooh, that one's having a sale. It's more than Starbucks. So Starbucks makes sense to me. That many mattress places do not. So somebody said it was something to do with real estate, and I don't know. I don't really understand. But yeah, that is a pretty crazy thing that we do here. Just random, like that's not in the movies or anything. It's just a weird thing that seems to be kind of exclusive to the US. I don't understand why people are hoarding things that, like, I don't get that. But yeah, a lot of like the newer houses are really, really big. And one of the problems with that is it's making it hard. You don't have as many entry level homes for somebody, a new couple or a new person, like just graduated college or whatever. And they just graduated college. They're so in debt. They're not buying a house anyway, which is a whole other thing. But we don't have a lot of the entry homes now. So the builders have figured out they make a lot more money selling big houses. And while some of us need the big, like I need it for my work. So mine is on the larger side. It's not as big as some of these. Some of these in this, oh my God, they're huge. And so, yeah, there are the new houses. The older houses will be a lot smaller, cute little homey houses. But new houses, new builders, they from what I was told, they found they make more money if they go, sell the larger. So that was kind of that's a weird thing. Let's see. Jack said, is there yellow high school and school buses in every high school in America? Yes. So the school buses definitely are a thing. You see them everywhere. We've got stop signs on the back. So like they stop to drop off kids and everybody stops behind them. So until all the kids get off the bus. So yeah, the yellow school buses you see everywhere. Let's see. And is every high school like Mean Girls? Yes. Absolutely. I feel bad. And I went to it. I was both on the receiving and giving end of that because that's what my whole high school was. Every girl was like that. Like, yeah, the mean girl thing, I would say is definitely. But depending on like the group that you hang out with, it would depend on how bad that was. Like I hung out with the cheerleaders, and football players and all those people. So I was going to be subjected to that a bit more. And I mean, teenage girls are just terrible people as a whole. I would say most of us were, at least in my high school. Yeah, I would say that that's not uncommon. Maybe not as extreme as in some of the movies, but sometimes it's more extreme. It depends on teenage girls, especially. I don't know if teenage boys do this as much, but teenage girls have a tendency to see somebody who is different or weird or whatever, and they will just not let up on that person. They just keep doing it. So that wasn't, when I say I was a mean girl, it wasn't that. It was basically when someone gave me crap, I gave it right back. But when, and if you started it, I was going to finish it type, and it wasn't ever fighting. Like we didn't have physical fights, and not in the two high schools I went to. One was in a lower, like, there were some issues with fighting in that one. The other school I went to, we really didn't have many fights, but we had a lot of just the arguing, the bickering, the meanness, which I almost was worse than I think the fights. I mean, some of yeah, they were mean. Let's see. Let's see. And that houses in America are huge compared to the UK. Yes, that is true. Like, I'll watch stuff in the UK and I'm surprised at how small some, well, see, but it depends on where. You go, like New York City, the apartments there are tiny, tiny. So we'll show on TV that the apartments in New York are these huge, like Friends. Good luck finding an apartment that size in New York, like what you saw on Friends. So there are definitely a lot. I'm just going to do this, all the white areas. What is this, Heather? Yeah. There are definitely some misconceptions there. The apartments are tiny, tiny, tiny in there. And with all the lockdowns too, I feel so bad for the people trapped out there because you don't have much, you can't get away from family members very easily if you're not getting along. But yeah, the apartments, I would say, are not it depends where though, because like my apartment in Grapevine where I used to live was a decent size. That one was pretty nice. But New York, you're not going to get one that size unless you're really rich. So part of it just depends on the location. Like Texas, one of the things I thought, and I guess this was a misconception, I assumed all the yards would be really big too, and they're not. So finding a yard that was, you know, like mine's not huge, but it's nice. I've got room to plant stuff, room for the dogs to run around. Most of the newer homes have no property. It's more house and no yard at all. So that's a little bit different. What? That just jumped. Where were we? Oh, that jumped far. Oh, hold on one second. Just scrolling. Okay, there we go. Snow said, did you think about doing one of these collages in some other media like watercolor pencils or watercolor? Not that I don't enjoy these colored pencils, just curious. That would be fun. The reason that I typically do colored pencil is it's one of the more popular things, like more people tend to be interested in it, but that would be fun to do in another medium too. We can do that. What, maybe do watercolor pencils next? For that one, the problem is with these collages, it goes on for so many weeks in a row that if I don't have something with colored pencil in there, I lose viewers. So it's kind of like just going by what more people are interested in. But that, maybe if it was watercolor pencils, that might be a good way to go. Have I tried mixed media collager? I have, not in a while, but yeah, that is something that I like. Jack said, and that loads and loads of houses and people celebrate Halloween in the States are just jam-packed with, no, yeah, and I think you asked about that one before. I wouldn't say that most, like on Halloween night, that's never been, I've never seen anything like the movies. You'll have different places, like different churches or different cities will have maybe a thing in downtown or a thing in the church thing where they do like they usually call it a harvest festival thing, but they have all the kids dress up. And so you'll have more people like packed into one area for those. But as far as on the streets, I never see the streets that packed. You'll have a few walking down the streets trick-or-treating here or there. Like every few minutes you'll see another family pass by, but it's not packed like what you see on TV. Now, I don't know if like super small towns would be different. I have no idea. I've never lived in a really small town. But yeah, that's not something I've ever seen. Like one of the town that I came from, and when I was in California, that was a college town. And that one did have like, at the park, they would have events that day, and there would be a lot of people there for that. But then at night, it wasn't typically like the big stuff like what you see on TV. Sheena said, I want to start an online business, but not sure how to keep track of all the customers. How do you keep record of orders? Does that web builder do it? Yeah, the process is computed. Yeah, mine is done. So I'm using... It's WordPress with the Divi theme, and it's WooCommerce. So WooCommerce keeps track of like when something sold, what the address of the person was, and that's how I do that. But to be fair, I'm not selling a lot of stuff online. Like I don't have time to get those orders out in a timely manner. So I'm not really prone to, like, I don't really push it. So it might be a little bit harder if I had a lot of orders, but that's how I've been doing it. I'm not sure if I were selling it on my own. When I used to sell prints on my own, I just would go through the emails. I never had enough that it was too hard to keep track of. I had a list of stuff on a paper, like notebook that I would write down too. Daniela said, hi Lisa, just joining. We're in the process of moving into our new home. I'm thinking about painting a mural in my kids' playroom. Do you have any tips for materials and process? Will be my first. Yes, for the big parts, at least for the background, use house paint. Go to the hardware store, get out whatever colors you want. It is so much cheaper, like especially for your base layer, your background. Don't use, like if you use Liquitex Basics, don't use your good acrylic paints for that. Now, if I get into tiny detail, I can go ahead and pull out my Liquitex Basics. But for the like this mural in here, I did everything with house paint, and then I used a paint marker to outline where I wanted to. So that would be an option. So yeah, big areas we're done with house paint, and then the smaller, like if I were painting whales or dolphins, I might switch, depending on what colors I needed, over to my more expensive, to the Liquitex Basics. The Petrified Gardener said, gotta run errands so I can finish up my new studio. I'm moving out of the dining room and into an old guest room. Nice! So excited. We'll see you in the restream at 1 a.m. We'll have fun. Brandy said, just wondering when you were going to stream again. Next one will be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Yes, that will be my next stream. Purser family, what pieces are you working on now? I need to post photos. Well, Patreon just got it, but I do need to post photos all over on MeWe. I'm working on the flamingo with the octopus, and all I have to do now, maybe fish. I might do a couple of fish. I'm kind of leaning towards no. I'll mess with that in Photoshop to find out for like if it'll look good or not. But I want to do a couple of moths, or a few moths. I'm going to do tan moths, so I've got to do that, and then that one will be finished. And then I don't know what we're going to do next. I haven't done anything in watercolor since the first one, so maybe a watercolor piece next after that. I'm not sure what. Let me know if you guys have ideas. Rhonda said, is it storming there yet? Not yet. It's getting dark. And I'm like, crap, I've got to take all my camera equipment because I'm going to that fish store after. I don't know when that's supposed to. It looks like, looking at this, 6 p.m. Actually, let's find out when it's supposed to hit here. I will let you know. Because I'm curious now. When is that going to be bad? Oh, 2 p.m. So yeah, that should start in about a half an hour. Yay. It's not that I don't like storms. It's just that when it's thunder and lightning, if it gets too bad, I have to shut this down. Power goes out, or I don't want to fry my equipment, because normally when we have bad lightning storms, I unplug all the computers. So let's see. Ziga said, another thing that is typical for the U.S. is big meal and drink portion. Oh my God, yes. So that part is, that stereotype of everyone being overweight, like our obesity rate is insane for, like, it is really high. I know the UK is high too, but we're really, our portions, and it's so funny. So you guys know I went through the weight loss thing recently. I lost about 30 pounds since last June. And I didn't think it was going to work. Like I wasn't really going to lose doing calorie counting, because I was like, I don't even eat that much. The portion I want to eat versus the portion my body actually needs are not even in the same field. Like they're not in the same state at all. They're so far away. I want to eat large amounts because we got so used to that. That's just, you go to a restaurant, you get, these huge plates. I was eating as much as my husband, who weighs 100 pounds more than me. My body doesn't need the same amount of calories as he does. So yeah, it was really, that's not an untrue stereotype. That's for sure. It's really scary seeing how many kids are overweight. And one of the things for me, I know people will disagree on this, but you have so many people, like, yes, it can be genetic, but McDonald's is not a genetic factor. And that's really what's happening in many, where kids drinking sodas constantly, like you're just nonstop calories. And we have a lot of horrible amount of obese kids, which is concerning to me. Like if adults want to eat and they don't care, that's fine. But I have a problem with a kid who isn't the one making the choices. Like I think that concerns me. I lived with, I've talked about this before. I lived with my friend when I was a teenager. I was 16, right around there. I lived with them for 3 months, and her mom was obese, and she is now too. And they wrote it off as it's family, it's genetics. No, it was what they were eating, because I packed on about 25 pounds, I think, in the 3 months that I lived there. And I didn't eat more. I just ate what they were eating. So now I did have more soda, because we didn't keep soda in my house really hardly at all. So yeah, that's definitely a stereotype that is absolutely true. We are a large country of, we like our food a bit too much. But it's funny too, because I found just the little changes you can make. We've all gotten in habits of, like, mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise, and I would put so much on everything, and it's really, now I've got a light mayonnaise that I can use, but it's like you just need a little. You don't need to like calm down with that. So little changes like that, it wasn't that hard to do at all. It's just being aware and making those changes. But I think we're all, so many of us eat, we go out to eat dinner together, we all eat these huge amounts. And it's like my friend Jimmy, we went to to a restaurant. He went with us to get photos at when I went for a Patreon. I've got to get that for you. I need to edit those still. I've got new photos for you guys. But he went with us and we went to eat after, and he was asking like how big is the pizza, how big is this? And one of the things for me, you get the mini pizza, it's gluten-free, but it's thin crust, so there's not a lot, and I'm always hungry after still, but that's like all I could have calorie wise. So he ended up opting for a sandwich. He gets a chicken sandwich, and he's very thin. He ate half the sandwich, and my brain is like, what? You're full off half a sandwich? My brain is just blown. Like, that is not happening with me. But yeah, we're all, like, not all, but most of us, I think. And you can see, you know, someone who's very thin, and it's like half a sandwich, I'm full, I'll take it home for leftovers, where I'm like, I'd be ordering a second sandwich because I'm a pig. But yeah, that is definitely a true stereotype here. Let's see. And I would not say that's blown out of proportion. I think that it's weird. Me and my husband comment when we go to the store, like Target or whatever, grocery shopping. Whoa, that person's not obese. Like, it's that rare at this point when I'm out. Like, seeing somebody who's not super overweight is more uncommon, at least in my area. They stand out because it's so much less common than everybody who is obese. So yeah, it is. I wouldn't say that stereotype is blown out of proportion, at least not here. And thank you for the haircut compliment. Let's see, where were we? That just jumped, so I'm scrolling up. Where were we? Here we go. Jack said, like, all the Nickelodeon and Disney Channel programming that are showed, the houses are always absolutely huge. Some of them are. It depends on where you go. Like, older homes have a tendency to be smaller. They're cute. They're really homey. Super cute. That's actually always what I thought I would end up with. I do like the smaller ones, but I needed more space for work is why we went with this. But that's not untrue. Some of them really are like that. Not all of them. I didn't grow up in super large homes. They were, you know, on the smaller 3-bedroom, kind of smaller bedrooms, not a huge living room and kitchen. Like, that was your whole house. They were not big, but they were cute. It depends largely on when the home was built. The newer ones are stupidly big. Victoria said, "Hi Lisa, so excited. I got my first set of colored pencils yesterday. They're Faber-Castell Polychromos. I'm drawing with them now. Any tips for a first time with colored pencils?" Oh, that's so exciting. Yay. Lots of light layers, and especially with polychromos, keep them sharp. So if you're watching me work now, this is not a terribly sharp pencil, but it's because it's the Derwent Light Fast. It doesn't need to be, it'll blend out. The polychromos keep that pencil a bit more sharp. Work in light layers. Don't push really hard. I have a tendency to give the impression that I'm working harder just because my fingers, the way they're jointed, they bend and it looks like I'm like gripping it with a death grip. I'm not. Super, super light hand and lots of layers and lots and lots and lots of layers. And once you get lots of pigment on here, like, look how much I've done, and I haven't even blended out yet with the OMS. I need lots of pigment on that paper before I start blending. So that's what you want to go with. And then I like to use the OMS or odorless mineral spirits to blend out. Don't push too hard too early. You can blend with burnishing. That's where you're pushing hard and jamming the pencil into the paper. But don't do that till your final layers, where you know you're not going to need more layers on top of that. So that helps. Shell said, "Wow, amazing drawing and coloring. Love the purple. Thank you." So that's the kind of a big tip here. White, like him on our reference photo, white is not really white. It's going to be very reflective of what is around him. So he's a bit overexposed in that photo. I'm pulling the colors around him. So I've got purples and pinks. We're going to use those same colors, and I'll come back on top with white for some highlights, but we don't want to jump to, the photo says straight black, straight white. It won't have any depth. So I'm using purple and pink instead. It looks black here, but it's really purple. Well, it's nightshade, so dark, dark purple. Daniela said, "I've been dying to ask you, I almost forgot, do you have an update on Derwent Inktense pencils light fast ratings? Everything I come across is so inconsistent." I just go by what the company has told us, and so while their light fast ratings are mixed, as far as some are really good, some are really not good, I don't know, and they've not tested if it changes with water, so I don't know there. I'm not going to use it in work I sell, but I will use it in work that I'm making prints from, or anything like that, or give away. I can give it away and not worry about it. But yeah, that's about all the information we have. Some people are arguing, oh, the ones that say they're light fast, they faded really bad. See, and I don't even know if I believe that. Were you using distilled water or were you using tap water? Because right there, that's going to make a difference. How much light was it exposed to? People don't always understand that when we talk about light fast ratings in any pencil, we're talking about museum quality or museum conditions. So no direct sunlight at all, ever. You're in a brightly artificially lit room, but no direct sunlight. And you can also put it behind UV glass, and that's going to help as well. But when people are talking about it faded right away, I'm like, yeah, if it was a light fast color, even if it was mixed with water, I'm going to bet you use tap water. Because most people do. I do. Because I'm not selling it. But distilled water would have probably made a difference there. So, no, we don't have anything like official. If you add water, it makes a difference or not. We really don't know there yet. Sheena said, what machine brand do you use for your prints? I don't make prints. I have them printed elsewhere. So I either do G-Clays from G-Clay Today or Fine Art America or Pixels, whatever. They'll print those. But I don't print anything myself. Postcards are Vistaprint. I don't do any printing myself, so I can't give you advice there. You might talk to Lena Dania because she does print her own. Daniela said, thanks for the tips on the mural. What about brushes? Can I use regular canvas brushes or will the Liquitex Heavy Body work? And do I have to top it off with something? So I wouldn't personally use Liquitex Heavy Body paints on a mural at all unless you're using a high gloss wall paint, because you're going to have a really, like with me, my walls in the studio are flat. So the Liquitex Basics are going to have a little bit more. They're more like eggshell or egg, whatever it is, where it's like not, maybe kind of satin. It's flat, but not that flat. Liquitex Heavy Body, it's going to be really shiny anywhere you put that. I would not use that for a mural myself. As far as brushes, I get the house brushes, like house paint cheap brushes from the hardware store for the big background, and then when I get into detail, I'll use my own brushes. But part of that will depend on how much texture is on your wall. So like with mine, these are horribly textured, and so it will eat through, it will damage your brushes as you're working, and it's hard to get detail because you're like super bumpy it's like trying to paint into cement. But yes, for the smaller stuff, I switch over to my normal brushes. Just know that the walls are going to damage them, so don't use your good ones. Thelma said, I like your hair. Thank you. Eo said, I'm Canadian and going to the U.S. I'm surprised on the portion sizes. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're pigs. I'm sorry if I offended any of you, but I'm talking about myself too, so I think that makes it okay for me to comment. It's a weird habit that we've gotten into. Just that and the eating like McDonald's every night for dinner because it's cheap and it's easy, or McDonald's or whatever. Like yeah. And then one of the excuses that a lot of people do, it's been like pushed for so long is, well, it's too expensive to eat healthy. Bull. It's too expensive to eat healthy and tasty maybe, or I think people's idea of healthy, so they think in order to lose weight, they need to be eating salads and avocado. No, you don't. You don't need any of those things. Actually, salad kind of got removed from my diet because salad dressings are so high in calories. So, rice and beans, it's cheap. It's lower calorie. And I mean, add chicken, add vegetables, add whatever. But you can do it it can be way cheaper than eating unhealthy. It's just that people are like, well, I don't want that. I want tasty. Well, then, there you go. Let's see. Phyllis said, a lot of kids today are obese because they never go outside, too busy on their phones. Ones I work with couldn't bounce a ball. So I think it's a two-part thing. There's that, but no matter how active they were, they're not going to burn off the calories they're eating. When so many parents now let their kids have soda all day long, you know how many calories are in that? Like an insane amount just from that. That's not even counting the food that they're eating. There is no amount of activity that a lot of these kids would ever be able to achieve that would burn off the amount of calories they're being fed. So I think that there's two parts to that. Yeah, I think you're right. But it's just like this horrible combination of everything that just sets them up for a life. Like they're going to struggle. Skylar said, you hold a pencil the same way I do. My mom has told me it's the wrong way. I was told that a lot as a kid too, and it's like, well, if the results are good, who cares how I'm holding it? It's comfortable for me. That's funny though. Tim said, I have a little problem with my pencils breaking. If a luminance or a polychromos breaks, it's just a huge waste of money. Do you have any tips for sharpeners? Good sharpeners. So it's not so much about the good sharpeners, it's about replacing the sharpener or the blade. So when your blade gets dull, no matter how good the sharpener is, your pencils are going to start breaking. So I like these this one's actually really nice. Did somebody tell me Coom was going out of business? But just any of these little metal ones, where's another one? Here's one. So these little, metal sharpeners, these are really my go-to. I've done the mechanical ones for Prismacolor. I would still use mechanical if I ever used Prismas. You're less likely to have breakage there, but I think we can go ahead and blend this out. yeah, if your pencils, if your luminance and your Faber-Castell or the polychromos are breaking, your blade is dull. It doesn't matter how good your sharpener is. If your blade is dull, that is going to happen. So just replace that with a new one. And I mean, I get cheap. Whatever's at the Heart Supply store, cheap. Speaking of, actually, one of the things I wanted to bring up. So I hadn't been into a Hobby Lobby in a while. I haven't been to Michael's in a while. I normally buy my stuff from Blick or Jerry's or wherever else. Oh gosh, I don't even know where my blending brush is now. It's been that long. So we know that they got rid of those coupons, and they claimed when they got, and I talked about this, back when they started using coupons, they raised all their prices across the board through the roof to make up for that 40% coupon. Like, they weren't going to lose a dime with that 40% coupon, and they didn't. They actually, it made it worse because they raised the price of everything else. So if I wanted to go in and get 3 tubes of paint, only one of those was getting that coupon. So I was actually paying more in the long run. So anyway, they, my math is probably off there, but you get the point. So they decided recently, both of them, they got rid of their 40% coupon, claiming they were going to lower the prices, their everyday low prices, blah, blah, blah. They didn't. I was just in Hobby Lobby this week. Their prices are the same with no coupon. Well, I have no reason to shop here anymore then. Same with Michael's. You're going to do that? Like, unless I'm in a pinch, I will just order online from Blick. They have a better selection. And the other thing that a lot of these stores, Hobby Lobby and Michael's, both did this. They are... they push their generic crap. They've gotten rid of a lot of their name brand stuff to make room for their generic crap. Now, I do like the generic paintbrushes. Oh, this isn't one of them. This one's a little Cordell. But I like a lot of their generic paintbrushes, not their paint, not their paper, not their... And they're making less and less reason to go there. The other thing, one of the things I used to like with Hobby Lobby, they had a lot of open frames, and they were 50% off every other week. So you could get it from... They were kind of crappy, but they worked for like a gallery show or something where you didn't need like... You weren't going to put a lot of money into something that you were going to sell, or as far as the frame, the buyer could change that out. They had 3 or 4 different types of frames now, and very few selections. I had to get the painting of George. He finally got his painting. I can let that cat out of the bag or post online. I need to do that. But he was shocked. Where was my brain? Oh, I had to get that framed. And so I had Sean, who that was the one that had me do this. This is Odorless Mineral Spirits, by the way, Mona Lisa. And I'm going to use that to blend that out. But I asked Sean if he wanted to meet there to pick out a frame. I didn't know they got rid of all of them except for a handful. There was only one that fit and only one that would have worked anyway, a black one. We were originally going to go with something more ornate to make it kind of funny, because that portrait was like this super old-timey looking portrait. It was not a modern looking one. So I'm glad he didn't make it. He ended up he was busy. And so he's like, just send me photos and I'll pick that way. So then it was like, well, here's your only choice. Otherwise I have to order online, because that is all they have now. I was really surprised. They just keep getting rid of more and more of the art supply stuff and focusing on random, like so I talked to a girl who worked there. I won't say which store I was at or any of that. I don't want to get her in trouble. But she was unhappy with where that store had been going to. She's like, why? It's not even, it was supposed to be for art supplies and hobbies and stuff. And now it's a home decor store is what it turned into. So yeah, losing my business. So, like, and it's not even good home decor stuff. It's like super cheap, overpriced stuff. I was really surprised. So yeah, they definitely did a little bit of lying there when they said they were going to, have everyday low prices and all that. You didn't drop your prices. You got rid of the coupon, but you kept your prices just as high as they were when you started with these coupons. So I was a little bit disgusted with them on that one. I mean, we knew it was a possibility, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Michael's did the same. They got rid of the coupon without lowering prices. But the thing is, and you could say, well, prices go up and inflation and all of that. Sure. But they didn't go up on Blick or Jerry's. I'll just order them from there and get normal prices. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing this week I found out. Jack said, when you had a job, did you find that you had enough time to make art as well? I'm going to be getting one soon, and I hope that I will still make time to sit down at the easel and work. So it all comes about priorities. Yes, I worked full-time, and I worked full-time plus took overtime, extra hours, and I started teaching art, and I did art on my own. I did not go out to clubs. I did not go out and party with my friends. I wasn't going out to the movies very often. Like, it was rare I left the house. Like, I had my priorities. This is what I want to accomplish. That means I have to give up some other things, some other activities. So yeah, that's how, you're going to have to give some stuff up. Maybe you watch a lot of TV at home. Maybe who knows what you do, but in order to make it work, you will have to give up some stuff. It's 100% worth it. Think of your future, not your right now. That's going to make a bigger difference in your future. But yes, worth it. possible? Absolutely. I did it. But you have to understand you're not going to look, if you're somebody who goes out a lot, you're probably not going to do that anymore. But you definitely can make time for art. I worked full time plus did additional vaccine clinics. So yeah. First, our family said, I can't wait to see how a fox and owl in watercolor. That would be good. I want to do something kind of surreal, something very more stylized. I like that idea. Where were we? Ziga said, when you burnish with your pencil on end step, do your previous layers still show through, or is it like acrylics where it will make a ton of layers and go over with opaque paint? So like glazing with acrylics, we have the glazing and you can see through each layer. When you burnish, anytime with colored pencil, it's never going to be quite the same as glazing with acrylics or oils. It's just not. They do mix together. So in that, it's almost a little, I would almost compare it as somewhere in between watercolor and acrylics, because with watercolor, it will blend in with the previous layer a bit more, but that's still translucent. So that's not, ooh, I see raindrops. That's not a great example. Yeah, you're not going to get the same layer of transparency like that you would in glazing with acrylics. It's just not the same. It does blend in and mix in with what's previously there. You're not likely to see, you will still see some pencil strokes or some, depending on how you blended it, that can still show through. So it's it depends on the color you're using. It depends on how heavy the layer is, how much pressure, like there's a lot of factors as to what that's going to come out like, but it's not quite the same as acrylics. Victoria said, thanks for the tips, Lisa. Loving the pencils, drawing an orange fish and coral. Nice. Do you think Strathmore drawing paper is okay for colored pencil? Yeah, the Strathmore drawing will be okay. It's a little bit thinner than what I like, but you're just getting started right now. You are fine. That is perfectly fine to start with. Hello, Shiny said, beans are so cheap and real nice. Yes, they are. Well, we don't want Gibson with his gassy problems having that, but yes. Let's see, Daniela, thanks. I will be doing new cheap brushes. Glad you told me that. I would probably have cried if I damaged my Big Princess brushes. Oh yes, don't use those. Bozana said, when I went to the US, I was astounded at how salads were only seasoned with weird salad sauces instead of some oil and vinegar salt. Yeah, I like oil and vinegar is one of my preferred, but yeah, we've got some crazy dressings, and it's funny because people will get them and think that, oh, I'm being healthy, I bought a salad, and they cover it with so much ranch that you're like, that salad is about 800 calories for a salad. Like you could have had a burger. You're not dieting quite like you think you are when you cover it with a bottle of ranch, which is how I prefer to eat it. Daniela said, thanks, Obi. Oh, I got that one. Janine said, carbs reduction have been key for us, chicken and veggies. So many great ways to make chicken delicious. And bison instead of beef, and exercise, cardio is super important. Yeah, no, I found diet to be like 95% of my weight loss. Like exercise just gave me an extra snack. Basically, I felt like I was more earning an extra snack, but it wasn't going to cause the weight loss. That was really more from diet for me. That needs to dry before we can go over it. That looks like it blended nicely. My husband does keto. My husband wasn't as successful with calorie reduction as I was. He does better with keto, so that's what he's doing right now, and it is crazy how well that works. That is definitely makes a big difference. And I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't work out, but a lot of people are like me and they're like, I don't want to work out. I'm lazy. You don't have to lose weight. I mean, I went on walks, and it would start with maybe a 10 or a 15-minute walk, and I worked up to walking about an hour a night. I've got to work up again now that winter's over, but me and Gibson like to go on our walks, and the walks just earned me an extra little muffin. Like it's a 120 calorie muffin, like or 110. That was about the excess that a walk. So what happens is a lot of people, this is the mistake I made when I was initially wanting to lose weight. I would do the whole, well, I just need to be active more. I need to go walking more. Well, I have fibromyalgia. I'm tired all the time, no matter what. It's good for my back, the type of arthritis I have. It's good for me to move around. But as far as the fibro goes, I am so tired. I just always want to sleep. I know no one believes it because I talk fast, but that has nothing to do with how I feel. I'm so tired. So when I work out, I typically feel worse than when I don't. So for some of us, working out, like full workouts, isn't going to be that great. But even a big, good workout, let's say you burn 200-300 calories. That's not that much. It's not a lot of people. And I have friends who do this. They're like, I had a good workout today, and now I'm going to go to KFC and get a Pepsi and fried chicken and all this. And I'm like, yeah, you burned, let's say you burned on a good day, some of those friends, I'll give them 300. I doubt they burn that much, but let's say they burned 300 calories. You just ate 1,400 between the soda and the food and actually usually more than that. You're not going to lose weight just from working out if you keep eating the same way. So it's really like it takes everything. Maybe a fox and owl and griffin. Maybe a fox owl griffin. Ooh, you guys are getting fancy. Clark said, I love how beautifully the light fast blend out. Me too. That's why I reach for them more than my I'm not saying Caran d'Ache aluminums aren't amazing, but these just blend. I reach for them way more often. Does the OMS buckle or warp the Canson paper? No, I've not had any problems with it, but I do have, well, you can't see it, but here, actually, mine's taped down with black pH neutral tape. So even if it did warp a little, it's going to dry back in shape, but I haven't had a problem with it at all. Jumped too far. That was a good question. Daniela said, my kid's playroom currently has a strip of space wallpaper around the wall. I'm contemplating space ideas for the mural, but don't want to make the room too dark. Anyone have any ideas? Well, if you have a good bright galaxy, that's going to brighten it up. You'd have some dark, but if the majority of it was the galaxy going through those bold, bright colors, the edges might be darker, but you could still look up different space scenes though, because you can do stuff that's really very bright. It has some dark areas, but more light than dark. So you can still do that. Is deep fried butter on a stick a U.S. delicacy? You would think so, but I don't think it is. Nancy said, I lost 30 pounds with keto and developed diverticulitis. I can't say that. Eep. I don't even know. I've heard of that, but I don't know what it is. I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, my husband doesn't plan to stay on keto forever. He just wants to do it to initially drop some weight, and then he's going to go to a restricted calorie to keep it off was his plan, just because he was not dropping. Like, I dropped it pretty consistently, like what you should on a low-calorie diet. Like what Fitbit said I would drop with restricting my calories the way I was exactly, like, time-wise, pretty right on. Matt, not at all. But Matt's not as good at calculating. I think he's eating more than he thinks he is, so that might be part of his problem. Noelle said, I work for HL or Hobby Lobby as well. They started lowering the everyday prices back in February, but they're doing it in stages. I'm sure some of the things will receive lower prices though. Yeah, I'll see it all the way when I believe it, because from what I've seen so far, the stuff that I would buy, I've not seen it on. So maybe they are, but not fast enough to, there's no reason for me to go there right now. I'm not going to go if you've not lowered the prices. So let's say your end goal is to lower the prices. Why wouldn't you either keep the 40% coupon until that's done, or your timing is off enough so that you're going to lose, you're losing me. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And so I'm not impressed with them right now. Velma said, how did you come across your decision for a diet plan program? Combination of things you found or doctor recommendation? So I hit my worst point. Some friends, are you dry yet? Let's start on the tans and creams then. So we had some friends over. We were playing games one night, so we're drinking because that's what we do when we play games. My friend Jimmy, actually, he brought, it was Jimmy, Topher, and his friend came over, and 3 of us, and then my husband, who's just like, you guys are idiots. Actually, Jimmy and Topher thought the rest of us were idiots. They wanted to take the game more serious, and the rest of us are just drinking too much and being idiots. So it was fun. Anyway, moral of that story, I drank way more than I normally would, and so, when you drink too much and you're really bloated, and I was bloated for a couple days after. So the next day, I'm a little bit heavier than I normally would, just bloated from that anyway, on top of that I had gained so much weight. So I'm brushing my teeth and my gut was sitting on my counter. And it was my wake up call, because you have a point where you're like, at what point do you decide to do something about it? That was my what point, where I was like, my gut is sitting on my what in the, that was my, so I go out and I'm having, this color is champagne. This is the Derwent Light Fast. So I had a kind of breakdown, and I went and I was being overly dramatic with my husband, and I'm like, I'm just going to starve myself. I mean, I really wouldn't do that. That doesn't work. But I was being all, stupidly dramatic. I can't do, I've got to do something major, something drastic to make this work. And he goes, why don't you just count your calories? I'm like, that won't work. I hardly eat anything. Turns out That was not true. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try it. So I did a really extreme calorie reduction. I started with 1,000 calorie reduction, and I knew that's not good long term because that had me eating less than 1,000 a day on some days because I'm not active at all. So then after I hit a certain point, I lost like 12 pounds, and then I switched to a 750 reduction, or deficit, I should say. Then I went to a 500, like I just slowly kind of went toward, now I just hovered about a 250 deficit a day, so that on days like when my parents are here and we went out and ate, I've got those calories to make up, so I don't like pack, I have days I can go eat out and eat a few more calories than I would normally if my normal day is a 250 deficit. So that's how that all worked out. But I didn't think it was going to, I was really surprised. I was certain it wasn't going to work. And it was so funny because when I started counting calories, one of the hardest things for me, the first couple of weeks, I didn't realize how badly I was in the habit. Like I'd be working in the office and I'd get up and go get a handful of almonds, or I'd go get some raisins, like these the little snacks. And you think, well, almonds and raisins, that's not terribly unhealthy. It's full of calories, and I was doing it constant. I was grazing. So just smack one of those things that you put on horses or cows where they can eat, and it's just attached to them. That's what I needed. So speaking of Jimmy, why do we do something? He's texting. We'll see. Jimmy's one of my plant friends. So Matt was the one who was like, why don't you count calories? And it turned out I was really surprised at how much I was consuming because I didn't think it was that much. So I'm like, I don't leave the house. I'm not going out, but I was snacking. I was in such a habit of constantly putting little snacks in my face. So yeah, that was that's how that came to pass. And I really did not think it was going to work. Like I'm still kind of like, wow, that was so easy. If I would have known it was this easy, I would have done this years ago. And I saved money because I buy these rice bowls, so you could do it even cheaper. But instead of going and spending $10 on fast food or whatever, I buy, and it's like under $5 for the rice bowl that I eat. And it's a rice bowl with shrimp. Those are the main ones I forget which brand it is. But there's a shrimp risotto and a jambalaya one that I get. And they're really, the jambalaya one they changed. It's not as good anymore. But yeah, that is how that came to pass. Me being dramatic because my gut was sitting on the counter. Let's see. It's much better now though because it expanded my wardrobe. I have clothes I've saved for 10 years that haven't fit. And so now I get like tons of stuff I can fit in again, which is really nice. Let's see. Janine said, I've been doing cardio with a VR headset and super fun exercise game with great music choices, Supernatural. So much fun, but tied to Facebook since they bought Oculus, which is sad. Yeah, my husband was telling me about that because he has one of those and he doesn't really use Facebook. So he had to make up a Facebook. It was a whole thing. Let's see. Skylar said keto is not meant to be a forever thing. I think it's meant to restart your metabolism. Yeah, and it works really well. I mean, he's done it before and did really well. The year we bought the house, we started cheating really bad because he had lost a lot of weight, and we just started going like, oh, celebratory dinner because we bought a house and we're excited. Oh, so we kept doing the celebratory, like being dumb. We knew we were being dumb, but it packed it on quick, and he put on most of the weight back that he had lost. So let's see. Let's get some lighter oranges in here. So yeah, that was, he had to start that over again. Daniela said, thanks as always for your expertise. I don't know if I have do I have expertise? What part? I don't know if I would take me too seriously on anything. Do your own research on everything, especially the health stuff. Skylar said, you can get bloated from alcohol. Yes, very. My stomach, like I was just felt crappy. I really drank too much that day. I think I drank a bottle and a half of wine by myself, and I don't normally drink that much. So it affected me. Clark Fine Art said, my point was I wanted to put a pair of jeans on not my point, I'm reading that. My point was that I wanted to put a pair of jeans on that no longer wanted to cooperate. That sent me back to counting calories and keeping a calorie deficit. It's working. And I had jeans from, 2010, I'd say 15 years ago that I used to wear all the time, my Levi's, and I stopped being able to fit into those years ago, but I loved these jeans, and so I kept them. And the funny thing is, what I didn't account for, they totally fit now. I forgot how low rise was back 15, 20 years ago. Like, I don't know that I'm comfortable wearing something that low. You can't bend over, your whole butt falls out. So I was like, I saved received all these jeans, and now I'm like, I don't even know if after all these years of hanging on to these, if I even want to wear. I'd have to wear super long clothes in order to, which I have anyway. But yeah, that was kind of funny. I'm like, I saved them all these years, and just it didn't cross my mind that one thing. I'm like, I'm a little old now to be wearing something that low. Let's see. Yeah, it's really. Oh no, it let up. It was raining pretty good there for a minute. Someone said, I heard the U.S. people love to eat spray cheese, Spam, and alligator tails. Is that true? Alligator tails I've never heard of. The spray cheese, what is that called? There's Velveeta. It's like this weird cheese, and then there's a spray one. I never liked it. I think that's freaking disgusting. Those of you who like it, you're gross. I'm sorry, you're gross. You're wrong. But no, I know of people, like my husband thinks that stuff's the best thing ever. I've never seen him eat it, but he's told me he loves it. Yeah, and Spam is one that I've never had Spam, and I don't eat spray cheese. So there are people who love it. I am not one of those people. The alligator tail thing I've never heard of, so I don't know anything about that. I've never eaten alligator. That may just be a location thing. Captain Z said, I did cardio weight training and lost 12 pounds and went from a size 8'10" to a 4. Nice! And I ate like a pig. Well, good for you. It was more about raising my metabolism. It was exhausting. I'm back to an 8'10". Mine's easier because I get to stay lazy and still keep the weight off. I just have to count those calories. Like I had a Reese's peanut butter cup, or the 2-pack of Reese's peanut butter cups last night. So I still get to eat some stuff if I have I had a deficit yesterday. So you still get to eat some really fun stuff. It's not always, I'm definitely enjoying the counting calorie thing more than I did when used to do the lower carb. And I'm not saying like low carb especially. It's not that it's a bad way to go. It's just, I felt a little bit more restricted. And a lot of mine doing low carb, I didn't realize I could do rice without having it flare up my fibro or my arthritis. And it turns out rice I'm okay with. I thought that all carbs were an issue, so I just cut them all out. Potatoes still are, corn still does it. But I can do rice, so I'm really excited because I love rice. So yeah, pasta would do it. I don't do like there's a gluten-free pasta. A lot of it's made out of rice. But when I used to there was another one, and that used to make I don't know what it was made out of. Maybe it was a corn pasta. That would cause flare-ups for me. But rice has been fine. Clark said, easy cheese. Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh my gosh. So gross. Cheese Whiz. That's what I know it by. Ew. No. I remember I did the raw vegan for quite a few years, or not quite a few years, quite a few months, 3 months. By quite a few, I'm sorry, 3 months it felt like years. But anyway, I did raw vegan to see if that would help with the fibro. And you got an itch? They had a cheese, like the vegan cheese, and the big selling point on the front of it was, it melts. That's been for years. My husband and I have made jokes about that. It melts. Like that's what is it made of that it normally wouldn't? Skylar said, I just do portion control. I realized in my teens my mom was giving me too much food, so I took the wheel on how much to eat. Good for you. It helped a lot. No hate. I love my mom. Skylar said, I have no idea how many calories I eat. I didn't either. I was shocked. Yeah. Janine said, I prefer the low-rise jeans and hate the current fashion of the all high-rise. Now, I don't like high-rise either. Like, if it comes above my belly button, I'm not wearing that. Like, my torso is not super tall, so it basically would double. High-rise jeans double as a bra for me, because the way I'm shaped. No, I'm not doing. I don't like those either. So yeah, I don't like that. I don't like crop tops. I don't think those are cute. I'm not a fan. And especially considering most of us here in the US don't have the body to be wearing crop tops. So I'm like, how is it that crop tops came back while everyone was at a stage where no, I'm sorry, no, just no. Let's see. I'm searching for some pH neutral tape. I know that Scotch brand and all the Pro Tape brands have those. I don't know if all the products are. The one I get it from Amazon. I don't think it has it. I don't know if you can see on this. This is the thinner one. Let me see. You can see what it looks like, and it's on there. So this one is Pro Premium pH neutral masking tape, and I just get that on Amazon. But I think I've got it from Jerry's too, but these are from Amazon. And I prefer the 1/2 inch, or no, wait. These are the 1 inch. I prefer 1 inch to 1/2 inch by a lot. Okay. There's some thunder out there. I'm glad Wade's not flipping out. That boy is afraid of thunder. I'm going to need something more opaque. So here, this is going to be one where I go to my Caran d'Ache Luminance. I need that to stand out a bit more because I've got the purples there. I need something more opaque. So if I can't get it bright enough, what I'll do is use the Touch Up Texture Titanium White mixture the next time I have it out for another part. And I can make that, yeah, I'll have to do that for a part of it. But this is going to work for now. Oh, this is a good color, though. We're going to use this for a few areas. So this one is, what is this one? Scarlet. That's a good color for what I need. A little bit here. Someone said, let's see, all these food feel so surreal and whimsical, like they made up in a Harry Potter book. You're right. I'm pretty sure they are made up. Like some of the stuff we eat, you're just like, maybe we should, no. No, and I will say too, one of the things I'm liking with the so I use my Fitbit to count like how many calories I burned in a day, and the Fitbit app, and so that's what and it's been really accurate. So they, with that, the nice thing is it does encourage me if I'm like, you know what, I really want some Reese's peanut butter cups tonight. I'm going to have to go on a walk to burn that off. So it has encouraged me to be more active just so I can earn some extra, I call them my points. So I can earn extra points so I can have something really bad. Let's see. Jack said, do you have the same type of dog that Homer and Marge Simpson have? I do. And both of mine were race failures as well. They flunked out before they ever got to race. Neither one had an official race. Wade is scratching in his sleep there. Yeah, I'm not going to name, neither of them are named Santa's Little Helper though. Leisha said, or anyone, I've seen a lot of watercolor artists using washi tape. Thoughts? I don't know enough about watercolor to give anyone advice on anything at this point, so I don't know. Maybe someone else will though. Shayna said, in your live streams, you always drink liquids. How do you not go to the loo for 2 hours straight? Well, I only drink the 1 cup, and by the end of that is the first thing I do. TMI time. When this goes off and I close this computer, that bathroom is the first place I go. I can get away with 1 before I start having issues. There have been a couple of times where I also had water on top of that. Oh, or a big iced tea. I'll get these big, huge iced teas. Oh my gosh. Those were some, yes. Serving Artist Collective said, glad to see you back again. Alligator tails have tried farmed crocodile, kangaroo, emu in the past, not koalas. Not bad, just keep to regular meats. Yeah, I've not done too much. I think we've had bison. I don't know, like I think it was like bison beef jerky or something like that. I'm not super like, I've not tried a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, my big problem, I have a horrible sweet tooth. I would live off candy if I could. Like it's bad. I got that from my mom. Now there's a line, some detailing I'm going to do around that, but that will be done with the Touch Up Texture Titanium White late, not probably today, but we'll do that to get some of these finer details so I can paint it in. We're just going to be blocking in the approximate where colors and such go. Actually, does this have enough on it? No, I need to dip this, and then we can start shading, getting some highlights over here. Velma said, my husband bought soy cheese once and put it on nachos. When the cheese melted, it looked like plastic. Ugh, no. So I need to make sure not to use too much OMS on this and not to get too close to the edges because I really don't want oily marks out here. So just kind of smudging that in. Now I'll let that dry. Yes, please. Thank you, Joseph. Like and subscribe. That helps. Hit the share button if you use social media for anything. That all makes YouTube go, hey, some people like this. We'll share it with more people. And that makes me all excited, makes me want to make more videos. Snow said, what's your favorite candy, if you don't mind me asking, since you mentioned them? I've been hooked lately on Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Those are definitely one of my favorites. Junior Mints are another favorite. I mean, I like most. My favorites, I really miss, what is it? Kit Kat. There was another one, though, that I liked more. Oh, Twix. If I could have a gluten-free Twix, Twix was always my absolute, like, every time 100% favorite, but I can't have it because it's not gluten-free. But before I knew I had celiac disease, I used to love those. So I'm going to use the Heather. So it's kind of interesting. The color that is the highlight on the black is going to be the same color that is the darkest shadow on the white. Same color. It just works out well that way. Clarified, I said, oh, Junior Mints are my weakness. They're actually kind of lower on calories, so it's one that I can, that does not fit in that one. I can occasionally have, although I haven't been getting them lately because my husband on the keto diet, he loves Junior Mints. And so if they're in the house, he has a real hard time with them. He's not a big Reese's Peanut Butter Cups fan. So it makes it easier for him. He's not as frustrated watching me eat my candy if it's one he doesn't like as much. So mostly I go with that one. Let's see. Phyllis said, hey, in defense of mothers everywhere, don't blame us for your love of chocolate. Tell your mother I got her back. Oh my gosh, that's funny. See, my mom was good though. I will say, this is not quite dry yet. It really shouldn't be going over it yet. I will say my mom did limit us. She was very good about watching what we ate as kids. So like we didn't have, I mean, we couldn't afford a lot, but we didn't have like candy and soda. If there was soda in the house, it was for my bio dad's lunch and none of the rest of us were allowed to touch it. So that was a good thing in our case. We had tea. Sometimes she sweetened it. Mostly she didn't. So we did have caffeine. We had tea. Occasionally juice, not often. Mostly we drink water and tea. So we had that, and my mom was very like, even when I was a teenager, if I wanted something, like there was a cookie or something, don't say that word in front of the dogs. If there was, yeah, I see you rustling over there. He's like, you said the word, you have to give now. But if there was something like that in the house, or like cake was left out, something, for some reason we had something like that, I'd have to call my mom at work and ask her if I could have it. We were not allowed to help ourselves to anything except fruit. If I wanted to get an apple or an orange, I was welcome. And that was normally the fruit. We didn't have fancy fruits. We had the cheap stuff. We had apples and oranges. I was allowed to have that without asking usually. But like my mom was very controlling about what we were allowed, which is a good thing because clearly I had no self-control. I would have eaten all the candy. Let's see. Janine said, do you gesso your canvases before you start with an acrylic painting? No, well, it depends. All of my canvases come pre-gessoed, so I don't need to. I use Frederick's canvas. Just for transparency, I'm sponsored by Frederick's, but they were already the only canvas I used, so no difference there. I just need a pop-up of that. But all the ones I use are already primed, so I don't need to, except there are some other canvases where I just love the shape and it's a heavier duck canvas and it isn't primed, like it's not as smooth. So with those, I will add 2 to 3 more coats of gesso, let it dry in between each application of each coat, and then I take about a 220 grit sandpaper, 220, is that what it is? And lightly go over it so that I have a smooth finish. So the only time that I gesso it is if I need to make something more smooth, but like if I use the Belgian linen or the Frederick's Blue Label, those are my normal 2 preferences. I don't need to gesso anything. Simon said, there are dark chocolate which have barely any calories. Yes, and I actually, when we did the keto, when I was doing keeping low carb, that was my thing that I ate. That dipped in peanut butter to, increase the calories. I don't know why my pants didn't fit, but the dark chocolate, you do get used to it. It's not my preference. I've always preferred milk, but you do get used to the dark chocolate, and it ends up being pretty good when you want something sweet with lower calories like that. I can't do like the sweeteners like stevia, xylitol, any of those. I can't do. Those make me so sick and give me a horrible headache. So I can't do any like low calorie sweetener. It's either real sugar or none at all for me. Clark Feiner said, starting to count calories, dark chocolate has become my best friend for a treat. Let's see. I thank you for being able to watch from the paintings that were made as if they were real. Hey! Hello Shiny said, I love carob powder too. It makes a nice drink and amazing cake. That's actually what's in, I think is it carob powder is in one of their treats that they have. We give them these treats. They look like Oreos. They love it. So we don't have a ton of highlights on this guy. And I am burnishing at this point. I'm pushing pretty hard to get this highlight in there. And so it won't need to be blended out with OMS again. That's just it. And I don't even need to put another layer on here unless areas I'll make go darker. That like really came out, that blended out really nicely. Very happy with that. And I definitely will have to come back on top of some of this with black. Why are you up again? Mr. I don't follow directions. Go lay down. No, Gibson, lay down. You know the rules. This has been his thing lately. Like what he did yesterday. Lay down. I have to be mean to him and I'm trying to lay down. Now. Down. So his thing, he's starting to have tantrums when we leave the house. So he got thrown off with, my parents were here for the weekend. And then we had Wednesday, we had all of the people, you comfy, Wade? We had all the people over here putting together my tank. And then yesterday, my mother-in-law came over and he loves it. He loves seeing all the people. So me and my mother-in-law, when we left out the front door. And as soon as I closed the door, I think he assumed we were going on a walk without him. So as soon as we left, he starts scratching at the door. Oh no, we are not doing that. And howling. He woke Matt up. Matt was still supposed to be asleep until like 3 or 4. He woke my husband up because he was screaming his head off. And then Wade was in his crate because Wade has to be crated when we're gone. But Gibson is going to have to start being crated if he keeps this crap up. But he had an absolute tantrum that we left without him. And so he's doing this whole, I want what I want. Like he knows he's supposed to lay down during these streams and he's normally really good about it. And lately, just everything, all of the rules, he knows he's supposed to do certain things. He just looks at me like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. So I'm trying to be like, I have to be more mean and firm and get him back on his schedule and track of listening to me when I give him a command. Because he got thrown off by, and I understand why that happened. I mean, the whole last week has just been different than usual for him. And he's just like, I'm going to push my luck. So let's see. Monk fruit, I don't like at all. That taste is not okay. It's not okay. That is cheese whiz. Let's see. Dee said, now I know where my recent headaches have come from. Been drinking sports drinks with artificial sweeteners. Oh God. And it is like, it took me, God, when I stopped taking it, it was days before I started feeling better from that. And then once it went away, if I drink it once, it was instant headache. So I was able to confirm like, this is definitely what's causing this. And I was nauseated like crazy. It was causing my fatigue. So I found this out when, if you guys remember back in 2017, I had those surgeries. And during that, I was in the hospital for what? 3 days? 4 days? Too long? When did I go in? I don't remember. I was in the hospital for a while. And when I came out, I kept drinking those, the coconut waters. That's when I started. Like I just got on this habit of drinking the coconut waters. And they have, I think it's stevia in those ones. Super good. Loved them. And I kept drinking them. And I thought that the fatigue was from the surgeries and the stress was triggering the fibromyalgia and that was my problem. So I didn't really think much of it. And then I had the second surgery and that was like 2-3 months later. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I'm thinking, is it painkillers the doctor's having? What is it? And it finally clicked. I'm like, the one thing I changed were I was drinking so many of those. So I stopped and the headaches were getting so bad. And I was so tired all the time. I just didn't have the energy for anything. It was really bad, like way worse than normal. And I already don't have energy. So that was rough. So I'm moving, by the way, this pencil, this is the Drawing Chinese White. So it's going to be my most opaque white. And I'm moving it in the direction that the little feathers on his head would be. But I stopped drinking it. And sure enough, that was the thing. I had written it off as just fibromyalgia, stress from the surgery, all of that. No, it was those coconut waters. And so I've tried it with a few other things. And yeah, I cannot do. If I have it once, it's not too bad. I have a hot chocolate here that I got. I didn't realize it had that in it. And it doesn't have a lot. That, if I do one every, rarely, I don't have a real problem. But if I start doing it daily, it turns into a bad problem. Come back. Where were you? Shelly said, snacks and soda were rare when I was a kid. My dad would treat the kids to a case of flavored soda for our family Christmas parties, and we always looked forward to that. Yeah, and I think that's how soda intended to be in the first place, like a rare thing, and then we turned it into our water. which I get because I love bubbles. So luckily though, with my love of bubbles, that was able to continue by drinking the bubble water. I forget which brand it is that I mostly drink, but it's like a black cherry one. It's really good. There's no sugar, no calories, no anything in it, but it's bubbly and I love the fizz. So I'm able to have that still. Hi, Shorty. Whoops, that just jumped too far. So we're just gonna keep building those little feathers, and I wanna make sure that that heather color still pokes through. I don't wanna cover this all the way. Now that pencil is getting in this area, I need it to be a little bit smaller. I'm gonna switch over to my Caran d'Ache Luminance. Let's sharpen this more because I can sharpen this to a finer point for the really little areas. It's not as opaque, but that's okay because this area is more in shadow, but I'm gonna get the finer lines that I need. So I've got to keep looking at that reference photo, pay attention to which direction those feathers are going in. I don't need it to be exact, I just need it to be close. And it's not random confetti everywhere. Make sure you watch how these overlap and clump and cluster together. That's a really big deal. We're not just putting random lines everywhere. That is not gonna look real or good. Nothing will be good. Casey said, I've had to cut out starches, pizzas, burgers, though once in a while I'll have a plain burger. And do best counting calories. I do best counting calories. Been able to lose 28 pounds in 25 days. Dang, good job. Velva said, artificial sugars trigger eating sweet and then salty food, so I stick to honey and real sugar. There you go. Way healthier. Hi, Hutapia, I am butchering your name and I apologize, but hello. I butcher everyone's name, so don't feel bad. Make sure too, guys, if you guys have a question or a comment, do the @Lachri Fine Art. It'll highlight my name in orange so I'm able to see the comment. Otherwise, I just don't notice it. It'll look like I'm ignoring you. I'm not trying to do that. I just don't see it. Sometimes I see it. Usually I don't. This guy is really cute. He is fun to draw. I've never drawn one of these. Definitely have to get some darks back in there where I've currently got the darkest purples. And then here, this line needs to be brighter, so I'm going to switch over to the Derwent Drawing Chinese White so it's much brighter here. Those feathers are kind of flared out, so they are brighter. I'm excited with how he's going. I don't think we'll get him fit. We'll get him, we'll see. I don't think we'll finish him today, but let's see how far we can go. So let's darken up. Well, I know I won't finish him completely because I'm going to come back through with some stuff with the touch-up texture titanium white the next time I'm doing that on another area. So next week, we're going to start the Emperor Angelfish, which will not be going in my new fish tank. No angels in that tank. They tend to eat coral. Plus, well, that specific guy just gets huge. Like, I mean, those are big fish. My tank is big. It is not that big. So whenever I have something that I'm looking at and I know it's going to be black, I don't jump straight to black. I typically try to do it in purple and then add black for little areas as needed. It's going to give you a bit more depth there. Snow said, I love this part when it goes from flat bird to fluffy 3D looking bird. It's like magic. It's my favorite part too of every painting. I love the end part. Janine said, does Splenda bother you as well? Yeah, I can't do that at all. Anything that's not, I can do sugar and I can do honey. That is about it. Like anything artificial. And I know people argue, well, stevia is not artificial. Yeah, but it does something to me that is not pleasant. So yeah, I can't do any of that. My husband can. My husband has no problem with any of those. A lot of what he eats has them. So I just have to stay away from it myself. So it's different for everybody. Jenna said, I got that one. Simon said, I love Fanta grape or root beer. Oh, I love root beer. My favorite for sodas. Luckily, though, there is root beer and Dr. Pepper, which is weird because I don't really like Dr. Pepper that much. By normal Dr. Pepper, it was never my go-to. But they have that in the bubble water that just gives you that hint of root beer, or hint. It's good. It's really good. I think Kroger has that. I think it's their generic. Clark Fine Art said, that Chinese white just made the face pop. I love it. What a difference, huh? And see, the thing was, to make that work, I had to do the dark first so that the white would show, like, it had to have something to create that contrast. So now we can come through, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Now, most of this is just glossy. We don't have a ton of feathers over here, and I don't have to blend this out with OMS. I'm keeping the pencil pretty sharp. I'm just going back through here and there where we need it a little darker. I also don't want them to look too fluffy, so I don't want to like go crazy. They're like here, we've got some fluff, but I don't want to go crazy making like definite contrast in the feathers. This is all pretty smooth back here. So actually back here, some of this I will blend with OMS. These smaller areas where I want it to keep those pencil strokes, those I will not blend. And I don't want to cover all of the purple. I want to make sure a lot of that purple is showing through. We're just making it a little bit darker in a couple of areas. Make him look a little bit more 3D. And I don't need it exact to the photo. I do need it close. See, using these same purples, this is really going to tie in, and this is one of the things that works so well with the collage. So I'm using so many things, and that emperor is going to be the bigger challenge because he's got like these yellows that aren't really anywhere else. Trying to make everything look like it goes into one scene, even though they're all individual elements that have nothing to do with each other. Use the same colors, you know, pull those pinks, pull the same stuff I used in the flowers up here. I'm going to pull some of those pinks into the yellows of the emperor angel too. So if you can pull some of the colors from other areas, it helps everything feel much closer together. I don't know if it looks like that on yours. The highlights on mine on the camera almost look like they're blue. They don't. They look just like a light purple here. I don't know why that's looking that way on my color is off on this computer, so I never know if it's off like just because of the monitor or if it's really filming off to you guys. Scrolling up. Thanks, Susan. Nancy said, I've just started using the titanium white texture followed by texture spray, and it's effective, but it's such a cooler white. I have a hard time getting it warmer. Any tips? So use that, get it so it's light where you want it, and when it dries, go over it with tone down a different white. So whether that be a cream color, whatever works better for you, ivory, you can put another pencil on top of it. Just make sure it dries all the way. So you can make that any color you want, but it gives you a good base. Ian said, I can't drink Coca-Cola because it's just too sweet for me, but I had a classmate who was putting extra sugar in Coca-Cola and extra sugar on pancakes like they don't have enough sugar. Oh my gosh, that is, I would judge, but I would probably do it too. I mean, I never have, but I'm thinking, I'll take the extra sugar. Casey said, I'm a sugarholic and Twix was my favorite. I had to cut out all sweets. I don't only have hereditary obesity, but also degenerative disc disease, born which limits mobility. Yeah, so that's going to be an even bigger deal for you. That was me. I've got ankylosing spondylitis, so me carrying any extra weight is going to make my arthritis in my back and my neck so much worse. And it was even just with the 30 pounds was really, really making a difference. Like it wasn't healthy for me, that's for sure. I definitely feel a lot better. Actually, I don't even think I'll have to blend this with OMS. That looks like it's good enough. I hear someone sighing over there. Am I boring you? Yeah, when we leave tonight, it'll be interesting to see if Gibson has it, because we'll be going out of the garage, so he won't think we're going on a walk. Hopefully he doesn't have a tantrum. Otherwise, I'm going to have to set that crate up for him. Because I don't know what he'll do if he's in tantrum mode. Like, why are you... He's just been... He really got his schedule just or like his routine, I guess I should say, thrown off. I had my parents sleep in my room on my bed while I was here, and I slept on the futon in the chicken room. And Gibson slept with me in there, and he knew to lay down. He knew that was his bed. I brought his bed in there, but he whined half the night, like, this isn't our normal room. You're throwing off my order of things. So we got to get him back on track. Poor Gibson, huh? He's ignoring me. Leisha said, who says the emperor fish has to be yellow and blue? How about fantasy emperor that's orange and lavender? And that's really what I'm going to do. So I will be toning the colors closer to this to make him work. You're right. Starving Artist Collective said, don't have puffin birds here. Never seen one in real life, but they seem to be really popular. They look cute. Are they sweet-natured or aggressive birds? I don't know anything. I really don't know. I have no idea. I'd imagine, I mean, most birds, if they were around people, so like in a zoo or they were raised by people, they'll bond to people. They're good with people in most cases. So I don't know what these guys. Maybe someone else does. I'm not sure I've even seen one in person. I don't think our zoos here have any. To me, puffin is the unicorn. I'd love to see a real puffin. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't think I've actually ever seen one. I used to have a book on them. My grandma got me for Christmas one year. I'm not sure what made her think I needed a book on puffins, but that's what, it's probably around here somewhere still, because I keep everything. Speaking of being a hoarder. Janine said, I'm excited to try the fish with you. Are you planning to put in scale details? So these guys, you really don't see much in the way of scale. So no, there's not. The scales are such a subtle transition. They're not like goldfish where you would see definite scales. So no, there will be no like detail there, but you have lines in the fins here. That's about it. They're very, very smooth. Most saltwater fish, you don't see definite scale. They have scales, most of them do, but you don't really see that defined. Hello Shiny said, yesterday my ducks made lots of excitable noises, looked out the window, and there were 6 wild turkeys outside their cage saying hello. Oh my gosh. Just little definition in here. There goes my air compressor. I probably should turn that off when I'm not using it, but I'm lazy. Okay, let's see. Some of the details in the whites and stuff I'll do with touch-up texture titanium white next time. That will be out pretty quick. Actually, not a lot will need that. Mainly around his eye. Let's see how much of that I can get the highlight though. Actually, with this, I don't really need it. That was bright enough. Huh. Maybe I don't need that on him. I love this paper because it has so much, like enough tooth that the pencil just sticks really well to it. Snow said, just out of curiosity, when you take reference photo, how do you decide which parts are too dense or too much detail on high resolution photos that show every tiny detail? I'm not sure I understand that question. I mean, when I take a reference photo, I usually am taking photos of animals, and honestly with animals, you get what you get. Like, you don't have that much control. You get good at getting good shots, and you take a million photos, and whatever the best, you go with that. But I don't know that I really have much, that much. I'm not a good enough photographer that any of that factors into my decision making. If I get a photo I can paint from, yay. If not, well, whatever. But like in this case, the photo I took, I did not take this photo myself. So it's from, is more detail. I'm not including all this detail because I don't, the size of the piece. So in my case, when I'm painting, largely it's to do with how big the piece is. So if I'm working on a really large canvas, I'm going to put in more detail. If this small, I'm not even going to try to fit that in. Like I get the hint of where the highlights and the shadows go, and call it just like good enough. But when I'm taking the photographs, the reference photos, that doesn't really factor. I just try to get as good of a picture as I can. Josephine said, hi Lisa, have you heard anything about the liquid white colored pencil by Pearl Burnish? You know what? I think they contacted me, and I need to get I just haven't had a chance to contact them back because they wanted me to test it, and if I liked it, let you guys know about it. But I haven't researched. I just have not had time. But it looked like it'd be cool. Snow said, what I meant is, how do you decide where on the drawing painting you can put detail and not every detail? Okay, I see what you're saying. So In this case, I'm typically going to put more detail around the face of my subject, in most cases. Wherever you put more detail, you're drawing attention to that area. So here, this kind of fades out. It's just really dark. We're not putting too much detail here. I don't want to draw attention to this area. I want attention drawn in here. So that is typically where I'm going to put more detail. So usually around the face. But it depends, because there's certain pieces I've done where, you know, the tail, everything has to have full detail and full bits of hair. But normally I'm going to put the tiniest, tightest detail right around the eye, around the face. That's really where I want the focus to be. And that's one of the things you can do to draw attention in, is like kind of have tighter detail there. So as I move out here, these are larger areas. I just need to get a hint of the feather. I'm not sitting there counting, okay, 15 feathers go in this direction, 14. I'm not that precise, but I want to give you the hint that there are feathers there. But also I don't want to put so much detail that you notice this instead of this. So let's go ahead and get some of these in here. I'm not pushing terribly hard here. I might switch back to the luminance. We'll see. And I can always come back through. Once I get more filled in, I may decide, you know, I want this to be lighter or darker. I'll judge that as more elements of this piece go in. Oh, good. The sun is kind of out. I'm hoping the storm is, well, I don't know. It says it's coming back, so we'll see. I have places to go today. I don't want a storm. I love storms, but not right now. Hold off till tonight. I'm going to be working on the moths on that flamingo. Actually, I have to figure it out. I've got to be able to get reference photos for it. I'm super excited to get that painting finished. It's in my hall. Like, it's when I'm in my studio, or not my studio, my office desk. Like, that's when I look out the office doors, that's the big painting I see there. So I already hung it up. It's just not done yet. Tara said, I did a portrait of my nephew the other day, and my sister kept saying, oh, it's done, it's done. I kept saying, no, it's not. My darks aren't dark enough. I love it. Snow said, I'm sorry, I'm not a native English speaker. You speak, I'm impressed you speak as well as you. I can't speak any other language, so I'm super impressed you can speak as, like, you're good. Don't worry about it. You are good. So sometimes I write more complex than I need to. Sometimes something I'm working on. You know, you're doing an amazing job, and I'm super impressed with your skills, because I can't speak any other language. I don't even speak this language that well, and it's the only language I speak. So no, you are good. Yeah, that is not an area you'll ever find me getting super judgy on, unless you're trying to spam somebody and saying you're from Texas, but clearly not. That's the only time I get judgy on. But like, I'm always so impressed when people speak more than one, two, however many languages. Heck, you can get the first one like me. I don't get that right. I'm always impressed when people can. So you are good. And I probably make it sound worse because I can't see it. So I'm reading it going, huh? What? So I make it more complicated than it needs to be too. Clark Hunter said, wood ducks are gorgeous. Maybe we need one in an upcoming collage. You know, you may be right. And I love ducks. My husband would claim that piece as his own. He loves ducks. He wants to get a big property someday so he can have a pond with ducks. We all have our own goals. I'm going to get just a hint here. Now, as I add the white here, it's not going to come out white. It'll just lighten the purple that's under it, which works for what I want there. So we have a little feather here. And another one sticking out here. Just work on some final shading and he'll be about done. I may, when I do Touch Up Texture Titanium White, come back and add that in a few. I don't know if it needs it though. I don't think I will. We'll see. Snow said, what's funny about secondary languages, each generation here learned a different one. My grandparents German, my parents Russian, and we kids English. Oh, really? Do you speak any of those though? Like, are you... maybe not fluent, but like, do you understand some of the other? Like, I don't have anything. Like my dad, my stepdad, the good one, I say, he's from Holland, and so when he speaks Dutch, I can only kind of get it by how angry he sounds. Like, I only know you're trying to offend me because of the tone of your voice, not because of the words. I was never that good. He actually, I don't hear him speak Dutch that much. He used to speak it to his parents mainly. But I never even got to that point. My mom was trying to learn Dutch for a while. I don't know if she still is. Let's see. Casey said, on top of those things, I'm elderly, so that has its problems as well for losing weight, and then also medications. Once weight is gained, it is so hard to lose it. Oh, you are not incorrect, that's for sure. I had just hit a point where I was just kind of, yeah, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to lose it. I had to hit that point, though, where I was like, I'm done. I'm going to do something extreme, like go whine at my husband that I'm going to stop eating forever. Again, I was being dramatic. But yeah, I'm really glad that I hit that point, because I'm more physically comfortable, and I get to wear more clothes. Like, I have so many clothes that I'd missed out on. And I'm girly enough that that matters to me. So here, oh, actually, maybe I can. This definition I was thinking I would need with the touch-up texture, but that kind of works. I'll have to put yellow on top of it. This has a whole lot of shading issues I need to correct. So while this be the luminance, Caran d'Ache luminance white, while it's not as opaque as the Derwent drawing, it will hold its sharp point better. So for tiny details, I'm going to switch over to this. Arm. Where were we? Snow said, I learned German 8 years ago. I don't remember much of it because I don't like the language. I learned Latin, and the Slavic languages are similar, so I understand bits here and there. Way more than I've ever done. Ziga said, I had a New Year resolution to learn 2 more languages. I have 12 digits under my belt. Oh my gosh. And no surprise, I didn't do anything about it. I think 8 is enough. I'd rather paint. Wait, I have 10 digits under... Wait, you mean 10 languages? Is that what you're talking about? That is crazy. Snow said, but in the end, I only really fluently speak Czech and English. I don't really even speak fluently my only language, so I'm impressed with you guys. Casey said, this piece is turning out so beautifully. Can't wait to try your techniques. Thank you. Jack said, have you ever had a weird experience with a subscriber in real life? I'm always scared of these sorts of things. I've had them email me. I had a girl, and I mean, it was one of those you knew she was very, very mentally ill. I actually looked her up on Facebook because she was dumb enough to use her actual information when she emailed me. She wrote out a novel telling me how much she hated me and wanted me to die. I've never spoken to her. She wasn't like in her, I think this was before we even had our art group. So there was no like justification for her flipping out. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, thank God, because I wanted to find out what state she was in, and she was not. She was very far away from me, luckily. But I don't know what it was. Like, she didn't have anything specific. She just went on this rant about how much she hated me and wanted me to die. And it was the weirdest, like, what in the world? That one was definitely a little bit like, oh, that's not good. I did it. One thing that was weird, I had one person, and I don't know who he is. He sent I think it was like a Bible type thing, but not the actual Bible. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at it. But he sent it to my in-laws' neighbor. I don't know where he got that address. I don't know how he got my in-laws' address, let alone send it to the wrong one. And he sent that. That one was a bit odd. Like, I didn't live there anymore, but they were like, this came for Lisa at our house. Weird. So that one was a bit odd. And again, I still don't know who the person, I mean, he gave me his name, but I don't know if I'm not sure. That was odd. No, I think those were the only weird, like, real life type, like, awkwardness. And the email wasn't even like real life. It was just an email that was sent to me that it was like, whoa, whoa. But I looked at the person's profile. Like, I found her on Facebook. This was years ago, but I had found her on Facebook. Just like I said, I wanted to know where she was located. Like, you're not near me, are you? And she had these rants going off on things like her own family, there was something about a sidewalk and she fell and broke something. I don't know. Like, she had the weirdest, like, oh, they have got to take the internet out of the insane asylums because, it is best if she not contact people. That one was a bit like, do I call the police on this one? That one was a bit threatening. Clark Finder said, Puffin looks fantastic. Thank you. Whoop, that just jumped. Why must you jump like this? Sneak said, I just read a blurb on liquid white. You can use it to add highlights. It's archival. You have to work out any lumps on your work, and you have to wait an hour between layers. Ooh, the hour between layers is not going to be ideal for me. I mean, but that's not, if you planned it out right, it could be a good product. I don't know. Thanks for looking that up, though. Bozana said, a Dutch language teacher I had in school spoke 6 languages well enough to teach in them. I can't comprehend how. Wow. That is so impressive. Like, my brain just can't even wrap around that. So it's why it's always funny to me, I guess, because I have so much respect for people who learn multiple languages. When they apologize for not being perfect at this one, I'm like, I'm not perfect at this one, and it's the only one I speak. So, yeah. Alina said, being from Finland, people only know one language. It's so odd. I'm Finnish, but I am a qualified English teacher in Scotland. I had a Spanish teacher who was Asian. I don't remember which country she was from, but she had such a strong accent that was not Spanish. And so she was speaking Spanish, but had a different accent. I had to drop out of her class. I had to home switch me. I stayed with it for a while. And the problem is I already have problems with other languages. Like I already don't wrap around it. And so her accent was wrong for that language. Was like, it was a really odd, like, I'm sure she spoke beautifully. That one threw me. She was also kind of a not nice lady, but that's a whole other thing. Ziga said, yes, I wanted to speak 10 languages. Oh my gosh, for now I speak Slovenian, German, English, Hungarian, Italian, Croatian, Serbian, I can't talk, and sign language. The sign language I'm even more impressed with. Like, that's one that I always thought would be really cool to, like, that's really cool. I am impressed. You're a genius. Ellie for Dream said, yippee, you're still here. Hi. Jack said, we're going to wrap this up in just a moment here. Jack said, also last year I fell out with a school friend, knew for years. Think like it's weird like that. You can know someone for years and then one day you never see them ever again. Yeah, definitely. I had that happen recently with someone who just kind of went crazy and was like, that's it, I'm blocking you. I'm like, why? We were having a normal, like, there was nothing weird. There was no drama. What? Never heard from her again. Weirdest, most bizarre, like, I still don't even know what happened there. That was the weirdest. Like, if we were having a fight, okay, but sometimes people are just like, yep, I'm done with you. All right, whatever. Let's see. Someone said a lot of art YouTubers like Terry Art are coming up with commission problems like unethical clients. I'm curious how artists handle it. Is there an artist problem protection legal scheme? The big thing is going to be having have them sign a contract, like non-refundable deposit. Once I start, you don't get that deposit back. That's going to be the biggest thing to protect. But no, people will try to fight things and they know that most artists are going to be like, I don't want to deal with this drama. Just here's your money back. And that happens a lot. I wouldn't personally, if we have a deal and you're the one who broke it, I don't know what the drama was because I don't know. I haven't watched that. But if we have a deal and I start the painting and you back out, you change your mind, you are not getting that deposit back. That is what the deposit is for, to, So, but I don't know what their problems were. I don't know if there's anything specific to protect artists other than just normal laws on contracts and being bound to those. Okay, I think there are some little details and little shadows I want to do here, but I think I'm going to wait until we start on the Emperor Angel next week. So this gives us, I think, a good place to stop. I've got to go do a water change on my tank real quick and trim some green star polyps to take to the fish store. I'll be filming some stuff, so I'll have that for you guys. I'm guessing that footage will probably be in next week's video, and then I'll probably post some stuff on MeWe. If you are not already, make sure to be following me over on MeWe, because it is better than Facebook. I'm pretty much done with Facebook. All I'll do is share links to other platforms. I won't post original videos or content or anything onto Facebook. Done with that. They proved to me that I cannot trust my business with them, so good job, Facebook. But yeah, MeWe is great. It's free. There's no ads. Well, that's amazing. And the only way that we're going to get people away from Facebook and away from that, bad platforms, bad policy, bad for our art business, really bad for our business because no one sees our posts. Dear God, don't try to sell anything. Really, no one's going to see it now unless you paid for advertising, which most artists can't afford. I know I can't. It's too out of my budget. So Anyway, until more of us start using MeWe on a regular basis or using any other platform, I think I may start TikTok. I think I have, I don't know. I'm considering that, we'll see. But yeah, follow over on MeWe. Link is in the video description. We've got some art group. We've got an art group. I've got a plant group. We have a greyhound group. We've got all kinds of groups over there. It's basically Facebook when Facebook was good. So before ads were every fourth post, before they started filtering every single thing you said, all of that, definitely go check that out. Difference between Caran d'Ache Luminance and Pablos. The Pablos are a harder, waxier pencil. I'm classy. Look at me burping on camera. Classy lady here. But the Pablos are going to have a higher wax content, so they're harder lead. So they're very similar to like the difference between Prismacolor Premier and Prismacolor Very Thin. It's kind of like that. Only I like the Pablos better than Very Thin. But overall, for most techniques, the Pablos don't work for me. A lot of people love them. They're just not my preference. Let's see, any last questions? Couldn't it possibly be solved by written contracts? That's what I was thinking. I don't know what their specific problems were, but if you have a contract, that's going to solve most problems. Thanks, Sneak. So nice to have you back. Thank you. It feels good to be back. I have seriously missed talking with you guys. Jack said, thanks for the live again. Love them. They're like a part of my life now. Yay! Velma, thanks for the fun questions. It was kind of fun talking about American stereotypes and like possible misconceptions or reality from other areas. So that was fun. And Velma said, thank you all. Make sure to check out Nick. Nick actually wasn't here. Well, Nick was watching for part of it. Nick's out doing errands today. Check out I can't talk. Joseph's channel, link in the video description. Nick's is there as well. Make sure to subscribe to them. They've got great art channels. Definitely want to check that out. And yeah, 3 o'clock. We're done. I get to go clean a fish tank now. Bye. I lost my buttons. Okay, we'll say bye again in a less awkward. No, I made it awkward. It's already awkward. It's done. Bye.